Have you ever wondered what happens when you die? Some say it's the end. Others believe it's just the beginning. But what if, in those final moments, you saw something? Something that changed everything? Meet Ethan Walker, a man who crossed over to the other side and returned with a message that might just change the way you think about life and death forever. Ethan Walker had never believed in the afterlife. At 42, he was a successful architect in Chicago, a man of logic and reason. His world was built on numbers, designs, and facts, things that could be measured, explained, controlled. Until one night, everything changed.
Yeah, I had it all figured out, or so I thought.
It was supposed to be a regular evening. Ethan was driving home late after a long day at work, his mind preoccupied with deadlines and blueprints. Rain poured heavily, making the road slick and dangerous. As he approached an intersection, he barely noticed the headlights speeding toward him, until it was too late.
The impact was violent, a deafening crash, glass shattering, the unbearable force of metal crushing against metal, and then silence. For a moment, there was nothing. No pain, no sound, no fear.
"Hang in there, sir. We've got you." And then, Ethan opened his eyes. He wasn't in his car. He wasn't even on Earth. He found himself standing in an endless white expanse, a place without walls or a ceiling, yet somehow, it felt enclosed. The air was thick with something, not quite mist, not quite light, but something in between. It shimmered, shifting like liquid silver.
My heart should have been racing. I should have been panicking. But instead, I felt something strange, peace, a deep, unshakable calm that wrapped around me like a warm embrace.
Then, out of the mist, a figure appeared. It wasn't a man or a woman, at least, not in the way Ethan understood. The being radiated light, its form shifting, as if it was made of pure energy. It had no defined face, yet Ethan could feel it watching him, understanding him.
"You are not meant to be here,"
the being said, its voice inside his mind rather than through sound. Ethan took a step forward, his movements effortless, weightless.
Where am I?
The being didn't answer. Instead, it raised a hand, or something like a hand, and suddenly Ethan's entire life flashed before his eyes. Not like a memory, not like a dream. He felt everything, every choice he had ever made, every emotion he had ever caused in others, the joy, the pain, the love, the regret. He felt the loneliness of an old friend he had abandoned.
Isa.
He felt the silent sorrow of his mother, who had always wanted more time with him. He felt the happiness of a stranger he had once helped without thinking. And in that moment, Ethan understood something he had never considered before. Everything we do matters. Every action, no matter how small, ripples through the universe. His chest ached, not with fear, but with understanding. He looked back at the being. The being was silent for a long moment, and then it spoke. S1. Media. Man looking confused or curious. Person asking a question in a mystical setting. Is this the afterlife?
"This is only the beginning."
I barely had time to protest before I felt myself falling. And then, pain, a gasp.
His eyes flew open and he found himself back in his wrecked car, rain pouring in through the shattered windshield. Ethan, stay with me." His body ached. His lungs burned. He was alive, but something inside him had changed. For days, he couldn't shake what he had seen.
The being, the city, the overwhelming sense that I had only glimpsed a fraction of what lay beyond life.
Ethan tried to go back to normal. But how could he? How could he pretend that death was just an ending when he had seen with his own eyes that it was something more?
So I did something I never thought I would.
He started searching. Not for proof, not for logic, but for understanding.
And the deeper I looked, the more I realized I was not alone. Thousands of others had experienced the same thing, a light, a presence, a moment between life and death where the universe revealed its secrets.
Maybe he wasn't meant to remember everything. Maybe he wasn't meant to understand it all just yet.
But one thing was certain, death is not the end.
Could Ethan's experience be real? Or was it just the brain's final trick before shutting down? Science struggles to explain why thousands of people report the same visions, the light, the beings, the feeling of peace beyond words. Are these hallucinations? Or are they glimpses of something we're not supposed to see until our time truly comes? One thing is certain. When death knocks, the journey may not be over. It may be just the beginning.